I know that Gio is one of those students that I think he's got a very particular voice with his artwork. It just seems to come from this place that I can't tap into. It's just so pure. He did this piece basically about television, right? And how television can, kind of take over your imagination. But in his eyes, it was television and movies and cartoons that sparked his imagination. And so I think he gets these brief glimpses of creativity from the media he consumes, and then he just pours out this his own version and his own viewpoint on it. So yeah, I first learned about Ooze about 2 or 3 years ago when he was in my drawing class the first time. Just a rough sketch back then, but now it's page after page in different poses. He's got a character bio on this very crumpled, well-worn piece of paper. You can tell it's something he's just poured himself into.
My deepest fear is just being paralyzed and not be able to move your body. And I kind of look up some research about that. It said that when you can't paralyze, it's a sign that you don't have really control of your life. I guess my childhood I was always a little bit of an underdog, like a little black sheep. I had some friends here and there. My dad taught me how to be a lot more tougher and how to be, how life really is. For me, back in the day, I always thought the world would be sunshine and rainbows. But how fathers are, tough love. Like if I make a mistake, he would just say he went to town on me, man. He would take stuff away from me, give us beatings. One time, when I was in football practice, I was gathering some stuff up, but as soon as I was not paying attention, and I was on the street with my phone, just looking down. As soon as he did that, he smacked my phone on the ground. Just straight up destroyed it. So yeah, it was cruel, but if I would just kept looking on my phone, I could have been roadkill, to be honest. So, tough love, man. My very first memory of Ooze been in the back of my head for the longest. But if I had to say what he really came to mind was in middle school. Ooze is pretty much like an underdog. He has 2 siblings. He's 2 brothers, living with a single mom. But his childhood was very rough. People would hate him for little or absolutely no reason. He just had this aura about him that people didn't like. They just judged him before they even got a chance to know him. So over the years, he built up a lot of anger. He was going through an art competition in his new high school, but he saw something in the corner of his eye, like a dark alleyway. He saw something glowing, like a nice green little glow. So he decided to be curious. He decided to just go in there, but he realized that he had a whole bunch of slime. He had it in a red wagon. So he decided to take it with him because he didn't feel like someone would steal it. So he took it with him, and he saw the glow stopped, and he just thought of nothing else, and he just started to walk back until he felt the floor underneath him just start cracking and just breaking, and then he just fell into a pool of toxic waste. And the smell and the fumes were so powerful, they were just overwhelming him. He was trying to reach out and just grab anything to just get out of that. But he grabbed the red wagon and he accidentally just sprung the containers of the slime, and it just come raining down onto him. Even one barrier knocked him out. So while he was unconscious, the radioactive waste and the slime fused in his body. And a few hours later, he crawled out the hole that had all the slime in it. Yeah, that's how he got his powers. The powers that Ooze has are typically the same as any regular shapeshifter. Transform his face, his body. He can transform his arms, and legs, and eyes. He can change sizes to like the sizes of buildings or as small as like a grain of rice. And he also has weapon creation. So pretty much that means he like transform his arms to like weapons like swords, shields, hammers, giant fists, like you name it, the whole 9 miles. Like he's a very petty little person. So he decided to get some vengeance on people. But he saw like some 3 goons just robbing a bank, and these goons were just like thick-headed and just dumb. And so he decided to just save some people. He just didn't thought of just being like a superhero. He decided because he was good, just doing the right thing. So at the end of the day, he beat up the bad guys. And those like the people in those banks were like the only people who cheered him on, like actually gave him like credit. And he's just thinking in the back of his head like, you know what? I think I can actually do this for a living. Ooze's greatest enemy is actually a guy named Heat. And Heat and Ooze are the complete opposite of one another. While Ooze was like always treated as a black sheep, as a nerd, as a geek, and people didn't really like him. But Heat is the exact opposite. Dude had fame, fortune, he was successful, he had good looks, and all that. Not to mention, his father runs a successful gang called the Heated Pistols, and his father's gang is basically based above the law. So realizing all that at a young age, he had a very large ego, and he always thought like Ooze was just like this nameless nobody that he could just pick on and nobody would care, and he was right. Nobody would care. When someone hits a little bit too hard, you get very angry just like that. I was around like either like 12 or like 10 at that age. We were just playing around. We was just, the usual thing. You know how boys are playing roughhouse. But things got a little bit heated and we just started fighting one another. But they were decided to just jump on my back and just straight up just like hold me down there. So one of the kids hit me a little bit too hard, so I kind of took offense to that, so I hit even him harder. And then back and forth, everybody's just fighting one another. But at the end of the day, I got jumped, and yeah. I mean, we were still friends, but after that, we kind of grew apart a little bit. You can't control nothing about what happens to you. And that was too real for me, because back in the day, I had like low self-esteem and not that much confidence. My deepest fear is just being paralyzed and not be able to move your body, because I started getting my life together and, achieving great things. So I don't have those dreams no more. Thank God I don't. Even though Ooze is based on me, but his troubles are a lot more serious, because like people, like nobody liked him, like hardly nobody. Not to mention, ever since he's got his powers, people treated him like a criminal. And not to mention, when you have like a whole city on you, like who's against you, even though you're the same guy saving their lives 24/7, and they still don't care about you, that's a lot of stress. And he's going through it. Even though he had some bumps and some misleads and get a little bit too petty, he's still there to always save people's backs, no matter what, and save people's lives.
Is that what you hope to be?
Do I hope to be Ooze? Absolutely. I think Geo's going to be bringing a new perspective to animation. He really seems dedicated to building his own kind of universe and characters, and so many of my students want that. They talk about it, but I don't see them putting the work in. But Geo, like I said earlier, he spends so much time in his sketchbook developing these characters on his own time. A lot of my students, they go home and school is over. Learning is over, developing themselves is over. They're relaxing, and it's hard to blame them for that. But Geo uses every moment he can to help make his future better. If it's anything, he's improving his talent and his skill set. But in terms of like who he is as a person, the way he treats other people, I don't know if you can improve upon that. He's so caring and so kind and generous with that kindness.